two of the highest grossing King Kong films of all times. King Kong 2005 with Peter Jackson as director, and King Kong Skull Island 2017 with director, what's his name? Jordan Vogt Roberts. So, let's get into it. Welcome to New Drama. One of my favorite movies of all time is King Kong. I remember watching King Kong when I was a kid and everything. It was like 2005. It was 3 hours long. It was a long movie. And back then, people would sit in the movie theaters for 3 hours watching these movies. I'm saying like pop, and that was back in the time when they had like popcorn, pizza, soda, all type of stuff. Our parents talked about movie theater food like it was gas prices. Like, and that's why everybody snuck everything in. You know, back then, you know. So, we're going to talk about the 05 version of King Kong. We're going to talk about the director, the actress, the actors, the year, the release, everything. We're going to talk about this. And for our second video, we're going to talk about the 2017 version with Skull Island. All right, let's get into it. So, Peter Jackson, okay, he was director. Let's get to the chase. He did a great job. They won 3 Oscars, nominated for 4. I think that's pretty successful, in my opinion. We had Jack Black as Carl. We had Adrian Brody. He played Jack Driscoll. Naomi Watts, she played Ann Dresser. I'm going to highlight another person in the cast because people don't talk about this actor a lot, and I think that it is just downright just disrespectful. We got to talk about Andy Serkis, okay? Andy Serkis he was in the movie. He played Lumpy and everything, if you remember, Lumpy. But he also played King Kong. People do not really know that. So Andy Serkis also was in the Planet of the Apes. Not the old one with Charlton Heston or even with Mark Wahlberg. We're talking about the new ones, the first one with James Franco. He played Caesar. And for the longest time, I didn't know how he shot that. But it was an interview, him and another actor talking about, how he actually played the actor. He actually played, King Kong. He actually put on the suit and everything. You can look it up on YouTube. It's probably linked somewhere and everything. I probably put it in the video, and it's like a short. And I thought that was kind of cool. And I'm like, wow, he's really talented because he did the same thing in King Kong in 2005, and he did the same thing in Planet of the Apes back in 2014, I believe it was. And that was the start of the new franchise and everything like that. The new reanimated franchise. So, isn't that kind of cool? Runtime. So the runtime for this movie was 3 hours, 187 minutes to be exact. The extended version was 200 minutes. Let's think about it. Who was doing 3-hour movies back then? Okay, let's run it down. The Green Mile with Tom Hanks. You guys remember Tom Hanks, and Clark Duncan, I'm Todd, boss. Yeah, that movie. That was a 3-hour movie. People sat down and watched that. Moving on. Troy with Brad Pitt. That was a 3-hour movie. People sat in theaters and watched that. Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck. That was 3 hours. Sad movie. But that was a 3-hour movie. And then more recently, we have The Avengers. The Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long. And people sat in the movie theaters and watched it. So let's not act like 3-hour movies are not like out the ordinary, because they're still a thing. And back then in 2005, when this movie came out, it was amazing. People sat down and watched that movie. They did. Let's be honest with ourselves. Can we still watch 3-hour movies today? I don't know. So what movies beat King Kong in domestic gross? And we're gonna go through it right now. So starting from the 4th, because they were the 5th, was War of the Worlds. That was with Tom Cruise and everything. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a great movie. Even today, that's 20 years old, but it's still a great movie. And then we have none other than Harry Potter, The Goblet of Fire. It's Harry Potter. It's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there, so that movie was going to do great regardless, okay? That was 3rd on the list that year in 2005. And then we had the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, The Witch, The Wardrobe. I'm sorry. That was really cool. That movie was second all time and everything. Great. But the number one movie for that year, 2005, domestic and worldwide, Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Our box office, okay? Our box office for this movie was over 200 million domestic, over 500 million worldwide. So what was the budget? Well, the budget was $207 million. That is insane. $207 million. To this day, that is the highest King Kong movie budget of all time. The second is King Kong Skull Island with 185 million. But like I said, we're going to do a second video and talk about that and everything. But when we talk about these movies, that's amazing. So we got to go all the way back to the first King Kong in 1933 when their budget was only $672,000. Okay. Back then in 1933, that was probably like $1 billion, because it's a lot of money because, inflation and everything. They made $10 million worldwide for a 1933 movie. The next King Kong movie, the next King Kong movie was 1976, and that was the third highest grossing film of that year. Now, it finished behind a couple movies, but guess what? The number one movie that year was that was Rocky. Yes, Rocky came out in 1976, and that was the highest grossing film of that year in 1976. And hey, I'm sorry, but Rocky was great. So King Kong came in, top 5 once again. So in 1933, that was also a top 5 movie of the release year in 1933. So why is 2005 such a big movie to me? Because I feel like that movie was so amazing and it was so beautiful. That's why they won 3 Oscars, by the way, because of how they showed everything. From when freaking Carl was overhearing that his movie was a bust because he's just filming, black and white movies of like something stupid, and the guys are like, what, man, we don't want to keep giving you money to do what? Because we're not getting our money back. It's because film and TV is just like a business. What you put in, you got to get back out. You can make a profit or you can break even, but at the same time, it has to work out a certain way. So when we talk about that, we talk in business terms. So basically, Carl, Jack Black's character, was saying, hey, you know what? I'm not doing this. Let's go. So he went and got a ship. No, first, before he even got the ship, I'm sorry, he had to go get Anne. Okay, Naomi Watts' character. He went and got Anne. She, pretty face. So he needed her. Just a lot of black and white still photos, video, stuff like that. So he got her on the boat and everything. He tricked Adrian Brody's character, that was Jack Driscoll. He tricked him to stay on, everything. And basically, they sailed off into this unknown charter of the sea in this unknown map, Skull Island, And from that point, the ship almost crashed. They got on land. They had the tribal people and everything. And when I say, look, man, look at this. You see how crazy that is? That was great. And I'm not a big fan of doing like tribal video and trying to like, dissect what they did. But what they did here was good for me because I felt like it was, not only was it spooky, kind of scary, but I felt like it was more authentic versus the old King Kong movies that tried to replicate, the native people and everything. So this ain't Apocalyptico, Apocalyptico. I can't say the name. You know what I'm talking about. What Mel Gibson's movie. But, it's not that, but they did really good. The visual effects and everything, King Kong running out, fighting dinosaurs, T-Rexes, whatever. The movie itself was amazing. I loved everything. I loved that Jack went to go save her and everything. They didn't. And people sacrifice themselves for Anne because guess what? We gotta go save her. We gotta go save her. They wouldn't go save her. King Kong flipped out, ran, got captured, went to the city, broke out in Madison Square Garden. Okay, Manhattan, New York. Okay, he broke out, ran the city, and you know the rest is history. Climbed that tower, got shot down. R.I.P. R.I.P. Harambe. Anywho, so we're gonna also go ahead and wrap it up right there. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We are a new channel and everything. My name is Big K, and what we do here at New Genre is we do movie reviews, TV reviews. I myself, I'm a screenwriter. I have my producer here, Henry. I have, my co-host and everything. I have my editor. We here are trying to create something really big in New Genre. So please subscribe to our channel and check out the second video with King Kong Skull Island 2017. Thank you.
I never knew. It's hard to remember. All the memories thrown away. All the history blown away.